Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Groovy Tuesday. How are we all today? Oh, we've got so much exciting news to share with you today. I can see people are coming in nice and slowly, early to the party as usual. Better to be early than to be late. So how are we all doing? Everyone good? Nice and sunny. Good morning, Jacqueline. Looking forward to today. Me too. So yeah, it's going to be a really great hour this hour. I've got lots to tell you about, some really, really exciting news, which I know is going to just blow you all away. Yeah, it's a really, lots to tell you. I'm so excited, I really am. Good morning, everybody. Here comes everybody. Good morning, Nancy. Thank you. So how are we all doing? So we'll give it a few minutes. So just wait to make sure you can all hear me. Yep, message from Jilly. The lovely Jilly is in the room with you today. So if you have any questions, then just ask away. I know we have some of the amazing design team. There we go. Look, F on Q, Josie Davidson in the room as well. So if you've got any questions, then just ask away, and Jilly and the design team will be able to answer your questions. And if there's any questions you want to ask this morning, then Jilly can text them through if I miss them on screen. Yeah, I'm so excited today. It really is going to be a groovy Tuesday. And with further ado, it's a great pleasure to welcome back, especially after last week and my door sewing, the lovely Linda Williams. Ta-da!
Hello,
Good
everybody.
Morning, Linda.
Good morning, Paul. Good morning. I'm a bit there we are.
Musical chair. How are you, Linda? How's
Very
things
good,
down in Wales?
Yeah. What's the weather
Good.
like? It's raining again.
Barb says whenever she calls you, it's always raining in Wales.
Always raining. Yeah, catch her out one day and tell her it's suddenly.
Or it'll be snowing. Rain or snow.
Yeah. So you okay, Paul?
Yes, I'm very well. I'm very excited. We've got some fantastic news to share with all our viewers later today, haven't we?
Yes, we had a nice Zoom meeting yesterday, and we did. We ironed out a few things, and we planned a few things, and absolutely.
And all I can say is stay tuned, because during the course of the hour we're going to reveal all the details, and it is going to be so magical. It really is. And it's all down to a conversation that Barbara and Linda had over the weekend. Sort of those two great minds together, it just blows me away on what they can come up with by just having a conversation and bouncing off of one another. But I'm going to tease you. I'm going to keep you hanging to a little bit later. Aren't I terrible, Linda?
No, but we like you.
So, Linda, today you wanted to show us some needlework, didn't you, in relation to this beautiful card that you created for me to showcase with your beautiful heart wraparound, and how we can attach it, because on this one you actually stitched it on, didn't you?
I mean, it's the old traditional way of doing parchment craft, when you've got a folded card and a folded piece of parchment, and we used to sew them in at the spine. But now we've gone to using brads, and you could put little gems over your bits of glue, because nothing is. It's never sure that you won't see your glue marks, and the tape runners are pretty clear, pretty close. But sometimes you can see them as well, but they're the next best things, you know. Brads are great. I use a lot of brads, but when you've got something folded over like this, if you stick it, where do you stick it? You stick it in the front, you stick it in the back. When you open it, it's going to move. So the best thing you can do is to sew it at the spine.
And it's amazing, because you wouldn't, just by looking at this, I wonder if I can come in on this one here.
You can't see it, can you?
No, I didn't even realise you stitched it until you told me.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you've got an insert, you can actually cover the little threads in. I'll show you that as well. So you've got an insert inside, you won't even be able to see the little thread. So you tie them on the inside, you can't see them, can you?
No,
No.
only, I mean, I can see it now that you told me it's there,
Yeah.
but beforehand, I wouldn't have been none the wiser.
Yes.
So I thought, what we'll do then, Linda, we'll start off. I thought if I hand it over to you, and
Okay.
then you can show everybody at home exactly how you would do that technique.
Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
let me see. Let me get my mouse, and then I'm going to just switch the cameras, and there we go. So it's all with you, Linda.
Okay, here's one that I did. This is done in the traditional way. Okay, and I brought this to show you might recognise that was one of the club plates ones. So this is how we used to do a parchment card. So we'd have, if I open it like that, we'd have a full piece of parchment which would wrap around the back and the front. Can you see?
Yeah.
So when we used to make our design, we'd have to make sure that we had enough parchment to wrap around the back of the design. And it is actually sewn in there. You can't see the thread. I don't think you'll be able to see it actually.
No, can't see that.
You can see the little holes that I've made.
Just.
Yes. So, and then you sew in the back and the front, and I'll show you how to do that now. And then if you pop a little insert in, then that'll hide it. Is it too bright? Is the light too bright, Paul? Shall I?
Yeah, that looks better.
Is that okay? Right, okay.
Yeah.
Now then, what I've got, I've folded, I'm using a dark piece of parchment. There's nothing on it, and I folded it, and I've cut it to size. Okay? If you're doing a plain card now rather than the hard card. And then I folded an insert. So I've used green cards so that you can actually see my white thread. And normally what we would do, traditionally, we'd make the insert a little bit bigger than the card. You can make it to fit exactly, and you can make the edge protrude a little bit if you've done a pretty edge. But normally, if you've got a white decorative edge, then you'd want that to show on a coloured card underneath. Okay?
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And then what I do is I've got 3 needles threaded here, just in case one of the threads comes out and I don't have to thread my needle live. So you take your ruler and your 1 needle bolt. Okay? Now you can either secure your pieces together, but sometimes, when you stick tape and things to them, they pull a bit of the card off. So I tend to hold it, okay? And then what I do is I measure my card. So I'm keeping those spines tightly together, and I measure the middle of my card, just roughly 7.5. The lights are shining on the ruler now. So it's roughly 7.5 centimeters. Now I need to make a hole there.
Okay.
And it's got to go through the parchment, and it's got to go through the spine of the card. Okay, can you see that now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll open it for you to see now. There we are.
You've done that before, haven't you, Linda?
Yeah. Hundreds of times. So then you need to, I tend to make 2 more holes. I know Gail Sydenham sent me her little sheet on how she did it, and she does 4. It's up to you. I think 3 works for me. So, and then you have to measure maybe 2.5 centimeters. It all depends how big your card is, really. So I'm going to measure 2.5 centimeters that way. Thank goodness for the non-slip Groovi guard. Groovi, what do you call it?
Groovi grip.
Groovi grip. And then I'm going to measure 2.5 that way. And make sure that that's gone through. Yeah, so what I do is I put my needle back in the middle hole, just so that I can open it and it's not going to move. Okay, now I'm going to take my needle out, and I'm going to push the needle and thread through that hole. and pull it through. Okay. I'm using a purple thread so you can actually see.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull that through. I'm going to leave a tail there. It's moved a bit now, but we'll manage. So, and then I'm going to push it through that one. So we're going to go in there. No, it's moved. Let's have a look. So if I put my needle back in there, I'm going to push it through there. I've actually made another hole there, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so it's going to come through there, and then it's going to go back out there.
Yeah.
Take that needle out now. It's a bit fiddly, but it's nice if you do it properly. So, and then I'm going to go back in the middle. There we are.
Okay.
I'm going to move now. Okay. Now then, here's the trick. Okay, so you've got 2 threads there that you need to tie.
Yeah.
So you're better off if you've got a husband that can put his finger on the... That's got to be really tight. Okay. Now, if you've got nobody to help you with this, best if you go back round once more again. Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, you wouldn't go through the middle this time. You go back up there and in, and back up there and in. But that means you've got 2 lots of thread on the outside. So you just tie your knot. And make sure it's nice and tight.
And I suppose because you're going through the parchment and the card, you're unlikely to, if you was just going through parchment, then it's possible by pulling that tightly, it would rip the parchment, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes, yes. There we are, leave a little thread, okay?
Yeah.
So, as you can see now, that's quite secure. Okay, and then what I do is I take my tape runner and make sure that I catch those threads. I'll run a little bit of the tape down there now. See if I can catch those threads in tape. I'll put a little bit more over the thread, and then you cut an insert to fit. And I usually cut the insert a little bit smaller.
Okay, so we've got a couple of questions, Linda.
Yeah.
Question number 1.
Yes.
What type of needle do you use? Is it a specific needle? Will our embroidery needles, would they work?
Something that's not too thick.
Okay.
There are my needles there. I've got an assortment, but the one I was using, I mean, ideally I'd use a really fine one, but that's no good for me because I can't see the eye of the needle. I can't thread it. Finer the needle, the better. If you're going to put the big one through, you're going to make the holes a bit bigger and it's going to be more noticeable.
Okay, so our embroidery needles that we use for our embroidering on parchment, the number 12 needles, they'd be perfect for that.
You can actually use those embroidery threads as well.
Excellent. So the Madeira threads are perfect for that as well.
They're perfect. And I've got the Gutterman sulky threads. They're the same as the Madeira threads, I think.
Perfect.
You know, you can buy them in different colours, but you can also get an invisible thread. Years ago, we used to, if you've got a sewist in the audience, they'll have done sewing with embroidered invisible thread, but it's very slippery.
Yes, I used to use that for turning up my trousers.
Yeah.
and then Wonder Web came along.
Yeah. So I've done a little diagram. So if I explain this to you, I'm going to write up a set of instructions and we'll put it online, Paul.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Wow, brilliant.
So right, this is your card and there's your piece of parchment, right? So this is the inside and this is the outside. So you take your needle and you go through, you make the 3 holes. It doesn't matter, as long as the middle one's in the middle of the card, it doesn't matter how far apart these are, or you could actually do more. You know, I always find 3 is enough for me. They've never come apart before. If you've got nobody to help you tie the knot, mind that one was quite tight actually. Then maybe you want to go round once more, or maybe you want to add a little hole each side. Okay, so you go in through that one and out through a second one. Doesn't matter if you go to that one or that one as your second one. Out that way, come back round, in through the third, and then back down that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4 actions, and then tie. So when you tie your threads, try and get one thread. You know, you've got that middle bit. You know, you've got middle bit here inside the card, and try and have one thread that side and one thread that side before you tie them.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Wow, that's brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. It's
okay.
That's brilliant. Let me just swap over so we can bring back to this card. Wow. So again, this card that you've created, Linda, this masterpiece, again, when I first got it, I didn't realize that you had actually stitched it until I read through the instructions. Yeah. Because I presumed, because for me being sort of an everyday crafter, I thought that you would have used the glue down the back to hold it in place.
Yes.
But yeah,
I was afraid. I thought it might move, you know, and it was such a delicate design. You know, and it's got to be able to open, hasn't it? And when you open a card, the layers slide up against each other, so you've got to be very careful about what you do. And if you're matting and layering and you put in brads, that's okay, because there's no movement in that layer, is there?
No, that's right. Wow, that's brilliant. Thank you.
That's okay.
Okay, so should we share our exciting news, Linda?
Yes, go on then.
Okay, so a lot of people at home will be familiar with Linda Williams. Linda Williams is a world-known Pergamano master tutor. There's 2 in the world, and Linda is one of them. And it took her many, many years to sort of achieve that sort of level of skill and technique and the award. And we're just so privileged and honoured that Linda is part of the Clarity family now. What some of you may not be familiar with is that Linda, over the years, Linda has written many, many books on how to do different techniques, how to sort of use different tools, how to use parchment in the traditional method with the pattern books. That's right, isn't it, Linda?
Yeah, that's right, yes.
And when Linda came on board and we purchased Pergamano, Linda very kindly wrote 2 books for us specifically. And the first one was the Handbook for Multi-Needle Tools. This is volume 1. And what Linda's done is she's broken down 9 different multi-needle tools. I mean, Linda, can you explain the purpose of a multi-needle tool and the benefits of that?
Well, parchment craft traditionally is made up of the embossing, which we've already covered, and the perforating and the cutting. The perforating and the cutting, it forms the lace work then. You've seen Josie Davidson's beautiful plates. That's one way of making lace work. Well, the needle tools are another way of making lace work. You know, everybody's got a preference. Josie loves the grids. I like the grids as well. My preference is the needle tools, so I tend to be drawn towards the needle tools. And I know Josie uses a lot of needle tools as well. We use both, but you've always got one that you love more than the other, I think, anyway. So so it's a combination of perforating, embossing and cutting that gives you then that lace effect.
Okay, so what you've done in this book here, Linda, is that you've really sort of broken it down, because I remember when we purchased Pergamano and we looked at all these tools that had all these needles of different shapes, we didn't know where to start as being non-parchers. Yeah. So what you've done is that you've created these books that guides us through on a step-by-step basis. And you cover them over several pages and show the different things. Okay, so what Linda has very kindly decided to do, we'll go into a little bit more detail. We're calling it the Pergamano Summer School. And over the coming weeks, it's all going to launch on the 20th of July. And Linda's going to take this book and she's going to break it down tool by tool, step by step. And she's going to hold our hand and guide us through and show us how we can really get the best out of these tools. Okay, now where else can you go where you can get a master tutor like Linda Williams in the comfort of your own home? You haven't got to travel. If it's raining, there's roadwork. You can sit at home, you can watch it back, and you can pause it, you can watch it again and again, and it's all free. Every single Tuesday, starting on the 20th of July, is going to be the Pergamano Summer School with Linda Williams and her multi-needle tools. So what we've done is that we've created a page specifically on both the Clarity Stamp website and the Pergamano website, where Gilly will put the link in for you, and you'll be able to click to that section. We've got the 2 books because Linda's written a second book, so we put a special price on both books. Okay, and then we've got the tool collections as well. So if you're thinking, right, well, oh, I've never seen these books, what tools do I need? What we've also done is we've created a downloadable tick list. Now, so far we've done it for volume 1, and later today I'll do it for volume 2. But you can go on there, download that list. I did have it with me, I think. No, I've left it in my office, I think. Yeah, lastminute.com. But it's a tick list. So it says volume 1 book, and then it lists all the tools that book's covered. So it means you can print it off, tick, right, I've got this one, I've got that one. Ah, I need that one. And you can go to one place on the website and you'll find everything in there. So it'll also cover the likes of the Groovi guard, all your essentials like your super foam, your pico foam, your parchment. But when we have a look at what Linda's going to be showcasing, I mean, I feel very special and very honoured that I get to be in the same virtual room as Linda. And so not only does Linda give you these patterns, then what she also does is towards the end of the project of the book, I mean, this is a real encyclopedia. I mean, look, we've got finished projects and patterns in the back as well. I mean, look at this one. I mean, I love this one, Linda. This is the needle sampler. Would you say this is a really good way of sort of putting the various tools through their paces?
Definitely. Samplers, the best thing you can do. You divide your card up and you do small bite-sized pieces in each square or rectangle. And you've got a lovely finish. You know, it looks lovely when it's finished. But if you make a little mistake in one corner, you can't notice it because the other corners, the other squares and things will draw your eye. So yeah, I think samplers are the way to go if you're a beginner.
And again, you guide us through by looking at these pattern maps and taking the various different elements so that we can refer back to. So this, for example, is the 5-needle perforating tool. So I can go back to the 5-needle perforating tool. I can have a look in more detail of the areas that you've created. You've made it so easy, Linda. You really have.
Well, the book came about because Barbara invited me to attend the trade show several years ago now, and she wanted me to demonstrate the needle tools to people that didn't know anything about them. So I decided I was going to make a series of samplers, one for each needle tool, and I brought them out to demonstrate, and Barbara looked at them. She said, "Good heavens," she said, "there's a book in there." So that's where we went. You know, we decided to use them in a book. So those are the actual samplers that were made for the trade show.
For the trade show, and I do have them here. I've got them under lock and key. So look, I've got Linda's original artwork here, and it's been reproduced actual size in that book. It just blows me away that a 2 and a 3 needle perforating tool can create different effects like this.
Well, when you look, each page has one needle tool, but also, you know, the world's your oyster, really. You can combine 2 needle tools, 3 needle tools, 4 different needle tools, and make so much more than you can see there in front of you. And I'll show you how to combine as well and how to work it out and, you know, add extra things that aren't in the book, you know. So, yeah, I've
Excellent.
got lots of ideas to show you, apart from
Brilliant.
what's in the book.
Well, oh, definitely staying tuned then. So we're going to launch that on the 20th. And I say, here's the tick list. Gilly's kindly brought this in for me. So Multi-Needle Handbook Volume 1. So if you've got that, tick already. And then you can go down the list and say, right, oh, 5 needle. Have I got that one? And if you've got it. So the ones that we've got the ticks on already are the ones that are in this tool collection here. And we've put a little saving on this set of tools as well, because some people at home will already have like the basics, like the 1 needle, the 2 needle, and the 4 needle. And it's just a way that you can sort of join in. And again, it's all free of charge. And it covers every level, doesn't it, Linda? It doesn't matter what level you're at your parting.
Yes. It doesn't matter how many needles are in the tool. And you start with the smaller ones, yes, just to get your hand in. It doesn't matter how many needles. A needle's a needle, isn't it? And the embossing in between is the embossing in between. So it doesn't matter how many, whether you use the bigger ones or the smaller ones. And the thing is as well, you know, it's nice to be shown. I remember having a conversation with Jane Telfoot only a couple of days ago. And Jane said that when she learns visually. She prefers to learn visually. So if I show you and then you've got the book to fall back on and go back and check, you know, what I've told you, I will reinforce what's in the book, and then the book will reinforce what I've said.
Absolutely. So again, excuse me. You break it down tool by tool. So for example, you said we'd start with the 4 needle tool on the 20th of July. So you've got this beautiful pattern sampler, and then again, it's broken it down into printed format. And then you explain about the 4 needle tool. I mean, here you say the most versatile of all tools. And you wouldn't say that for the sake of saying it. I mean, you've got many years of experience. So it's great to have this, isn't it? Because so that we can follow with you. We can obviously watch back on YouTube and go backwards and forwards and pause it afterwards. They're never going to disappear, and we're going to put them all in one place on the Clarity and Pergamano website. And then again, later on, you've got projects where you've used them. Look, top tips, questions and answers. But because it's live, if you are watching live, then obviously you can ask those questions.
And you know, some people have bought the book and they're still a little bit afraid to delve in. And, you know, I want to bust those myths, really. They're not difficult to use. And something I would say is, make sure you've got your glasses with you. And if you use a magnifier, for me, is a must with needle tool work. If you've got nice young eyes and you can see everything, then that's okay. I prefer to use a magnifier to make sure that I'm going in exactly the place that I want to go in, you know?
Brilliant. So how exciting is that? Pergamano School with Linda Williams, and that'll start on the 20th of July. And we reckon when we were talking yesterday, Linda, we said each tool probably over a 2-week period.
I think so. I think I can show you how to use it basically around a shape and how to make it fit, and then we can start using the patterns that are in the book. And I can show you. I mean, each needle tool has about 10, 15 different patterns, you know. We won't cover them all, but I'll certainly show you how to use them. And if you know how to use them, and really the world's your oyster. And needle tool work doesn't need to be on an edge. If you don't want to cut out, you can actually put it in the middle and just fill in your spaces with tiny little dots. It looks really pretty. Sometimes it looks prettier than when it's cut. You know?
So again, so it's like an infill to create pattern rather than colour.
Yes. You can put it inside your petals, you know, the small needle tools. Fill your petals with little shapes with the needle tools. You don't have to colour, you know, and it's really pretty. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I know the people at home, I can sort that all these messages going up, sort of like, oh.
Well,
So,
I can't see the messages, so I hope they're good.
of course they're good, Linda. So you've got a couple of weeks to get all your bits and pieces together. This week and next week, we're going to have a look at Linda's 1, 2, 3 butterfly plate. And the dragonfly one as well. And Linda's going to continue down the journey over the next 2 weeks with that beautiful shading, that whitework shading we've looked at previously with the paisley plate. So what it means, it gives you a chance to download that list, stock up and write, what do I need? And it doesn't matter where in the world. That's what I love about this type of interaction. You can be anywhere in the world. You haven't got to fly in, you haven't got to worry about hotels, and you can go. I mean, Linda's voice alone is just it just sort of is so calming, and again, I will be learning as well. And I know Barb said that she'll be joining in on some of them as well, because she wants to really get to grips with those tools.
Yeah.
So we're going to send out some e-shots later this week, and we'll get all the website up and running. But if you've got any questions during this hour, ask away during the next course of the half hour already. The rest of this session, where parchment says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I hope you're as excited as I am. And I think what we'll do now is we'll hand over to the lovely Linda, where she's going to showcase her beautiful 1, 2, 3 butterflies. So over to you, Linda.
Okay, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to do just that middle bit there. Okay, I've got another one here that I've done to show you. This is there's less butterflies on this. Okay, and next week I might actually show you how to do the little bubbles. That'd be nice. We bring some bubbles in for add a bit of colour. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
So I'll just show you how to do it. We won't make this card, but this one has got those little butterflies. I've been 3Ds. Can you see it?
Oh yeah.
So
gorgeous.
But with this one, I've just embossed the lines with the number 1 Groovi tool and just coloured behind. But with this one, it's so different. We've embossed it rather than embossed it all, and just added a hint of colour. Okay.
Beautiful.
So let's get cracking then. So I'll take my Groovi plate. I actually used the scallop plate for this, but I'll use this because I think most people have got this one, Paul, haven't they?
Yeah, so they have indeed.
If I use this one, and I'll get this parchment.
So we just need a square to start with, don't we, Linda?
Square, yeah, and it's the 5th. It's the 5th outermost square. So put your Groovi tabs on. And rub over with your temper dryer sheet. And if we do the square now and put the butterflies in, and I'll show you the first emboss. And we'll see how we're getting on for time. So I need the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th in the most square. Best to use your Groovi guard for this. I can't find it now. It's buried under everything else I've got out now.
I've got one. Do you want to borrow it?
Yeah, throw it like a frisbee. Right. So there's my square, and it's pretty close to that one. A little bit smaller, but that doesn't matter. So then I'm going to bring in my A4 square plate mate. Brilliant. Love this. I use it all the time. And my butterfly plate. Okay. Now then, remember now we're working on the back. Okay. So because my butterfly's on the left-hand side on the front, it needs to be on the right-hand side on the back. I'm going to put the big one in first. So I want to turn it because it's only part of a butterfly, as you will see, okay? So I want to
Yeah.
turn it so that I can, so that's about right. So these antlers just going off the corner there, can you see? So the corner of my square is that about right? No, I take it up a bit. Yeah, take it up a little bit. That'll do. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, see, does it, you know?
Yeah, I think that works, doesn't it?
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, so then I'm going to do his antenna with the number 1 tool.
Okay.
And everything else with the number 2 tool. Very lightly.
So very, very lightly on, and we're going to do all of the detail inside the butterfly?
Yes, I think I did it. Yes, I did it all, yeah.
Okay.
If there's any bits that you want to leave out, then you can leave them out.
The voice of Linda Williams and the art of Groovi.
Oh, I left the dots out, sorry. Yes, I did. If you put them in, no, don't worry.
Okay.
I left the dots out, yeah. You did ask, didn't you? I should have said.
That's all right. At the end of the day, Linda, it's a piece of parchment, isn't it?
Yeah.
And for me, like when we was working together previously, it's all about, this would be the piece that I put into my folder that I would refer back to.
Yes. Okay. So then, I mean, you're going to put the smaller ones in. We're going to do exactly the same. We're going to use the number 1 for the antennae. So I've got the bigger one, and he is sort of pointing maybe that way. Yours might be slightly different. It really doesn't matter. It's your piece of work, so you put in whatever you want. So we're going to do number 1 tool, and then number 2 tool.
And are we ignoring the butterfly trail?
Yeah, we're ignoring that. We're going to put those in at the end so that they flow a little bit better.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, so chilled.
It's such a relaxing craft. Leave the dots out again. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, the lighter you can do these lines, the better. But you've got to bear in mind that you've got to be able to see them as well, you know. So it's the old eyes again.
So, Linda, if we was doing this particular design in a traditional method where we'd have a printed pattern,
yes,
how long would you say that it would take to trace out to do the first stage of the outline work?
well, it would probably take you 20 minutes, half an hour to trace it out with pencil, especially if it's detailed. And it would take at least an hour, 2 hours to be doing the embossing on this type of thing with this very fine detail inside to get to the stage where you're ready to start embossing. A good couple of hours, because what you've got to remember as well is you've got to try and keep those lines nice and neat and straight, and you know. So it used to be a bit, it was very time consuming, very tricky. And nightmare, you know, when you want to do an outline of a circle to encapsulate your design, where you can imagine what the outlines used to look like. You could never get a proper circle. It would be a wobbly circle. You just couldn't.
But that was the skill, wasn't it? I mean, that was the skill of parchment craft back then. And I tried myself, but yeah.
So I'm going to put a smaller one in now. I'm going to put that one. He was there, I think. So if he's on the right, if you want to copy it. If you manage to get a picture of a card and you want to copy it, put it on your computer and flip it over. it's easier to follow then.
Ah.
Okay, so that one's going on from that one there. We'll put in there. So I'm not going to. I don't think I'll do all the filling in now. I mean, you can do that in your own time. I think at home. I'll just, if I do one, the rest will follow really, and I'll show you how to do the little trails as well and get a continuous line. So number 1 for the antenna, leave the dots out, and the number 2. It's a bit more tricky to do the little ones, you know.
I suppose, yeah, because for me personally, when I've done this particular design, I would always go in with that number 1 tool, so the tool sits more easily within the grooves.
Yeah. So you can actually leave it plain. If you don't want to do all that fussy stuff, just do the fussy stuff on the big one, you know?
Yeah.
And then I add another one up on top there. So
I can imagine everyone at home, their room is completely silent. You know, when you teach when you teach a class, Linda, and you're getting them to sort of trace, you're getting people to trace out the design, and the room, that you can hear a pin drop, can't you?
You can hear a pin drop, yes. Yeah. Right, okay, so now then, for the trails, you've just got to look to see what you've got and just put it in yourself, you know. So I've got that one there, is the one that I used there. So it's, if you position it on the end of the butterfly and get it to finish off the edge, and then just put in your trails. There are enough trails there to fiddle about with it and put them where you want them, you know. I love these broken lines. I think they're very effective.
They are. It's like that faux stitching, isn't it?
Yes. And then I used that fancy one there. So let's see, you can turn your parchment around, look. You don't have to use it in one direction. It's easier to turn your parchment around than your plate, isn't it? So
see, I got carried away. I've just done one wing with the number 1 tool, but I'm not worried.
Yeah, I nearly did it as well. So if you want to do these trails quicker, you can. If you've got a bit of a flow going, you can actually do it that way. Remember, you found this out, Paul. If you run the tool over it, yeah, it does work. Look, there we are. It's a bit quicker. And if your trail doesn't end somewhere where you want it to end, just add a little bit more in. Just move it about. That's the glory of the Groovi plate, isn't it? So
it is.
So just keep on adding your trails, and I'll show you a little bit of the embossing now. I won't go any further, but you can decorate it as you like. So there's mine again. So I tried to get trails going from one butterfly to the next. Okay. If you haven't got a scallop plate, if you're very clever and you have a look on your plate, you may be able to find something you can use as a scallop. Now, I did find one yesterday. Now, where did I find one? Let's see. I think it was that. So what you need to do is put a Groovi tab over you see that bit of the wing there?
Oh, yeah.
There. So if you put a Groovi tab over there, or a piece of masking tape, probably would be better so you can see it.
Yeah.
And then it all depends how big you want your scallop, really. And then you can move it along. If you put your masking tape there, though, you'll be able to you'll be able to see exactly where it should start and end.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's a little cheat for you. That's okay. Not everybody can afford to buy all the
No,
paper.
absolutely.
Can
Yeah.
they? So now then, let's do a little bit of embossing, shall we? So we need
Okay.
to. I'm going to concentrate on him now. That one. I'm going to bring my embossing mat in, and we're going to start again with the 6mm ball tool. And give it another rub over with a tumble dryer sheet now. And let's turn it around so we can work from the picture a little bit, see what we can see. There we are. Might be able to, yeah. That's a bit of a help, isn't it? This is what I'm saying. If I had flipped that, it would be a lot easier. Right, so remember now, 6mm ball tool, starting at that tip there and sweeping inwards. So down the middle, and as you come into the edge, sweeping outwards a bit. So it's down the middle. I'll do it hard now for you to see. And then as you come into the edge, you're sweeping out a bit. Can you see?
Yeah.
So I'm sweeping out and sweeping in, going actually with the curve of the shape then. So down the middle, and it's a press and a flick, and try and bring that ball tool down on your embossed line to try and avoid a grey gap between the embossed line and your white embossing. So it's a press and a flick. I'll give it 2 layers now. And then we'll go on, and then we'll do this bit here. So it's a press and a flick. Take it quite far to start with, as far as you possibly can. And I'm leaving a little gap there.
Okay, in between the two wings.
In between the two sections. So you can see, I can see it better on this. So there's a little gap there, can you see it? Now where I leave my gaps is where I'm going to colour. If you leave a gap in your embossing, you can colour quite safely on the back and the colour will show through. If you colour it all, your colour's not going to show through. Okay?
Right, okay.
You don't want to colour it all anyway, you'd have no depth in it, would you? You need to be giving it it needs to look interesting. So leave little gaps. You don't have to leave your gaps in the same place that I left mine. So you need to go right down to the bottom, but still leave a gap, because my embossing goes almost down to the bottom there, okay? So then we'll do this one. So, and then perhaps we'll leave a gap. So I've done the whole of that one, and now I'm going to leave a little gap there because I want to bring in a bit of blue. And I'm going to go right up to the line. Best to go up to the line because you've already got a line there, so you need to incorporate it into your embossing. I'm going to take that down a little bit. But I'm pressing so gently that even though I'm starting there, you can't see. If I was to press, let me show you. If I think, oh, I need to take my embossing down a little bit more, and I was to press hard, you can see where I started. So you still need to have that gentle pressure to incorporate the two different areas of embossing that you've done. Okay, so, and then I'm going to do that one, and I'm going to leave a little gap. You can leave your gap in a different place if you want. You don't have to do it in exactly the same place as I have. I'm going to leave those two there, and I'm going to see those two, and I'm going to emboss that one because I wanted them to be blue. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I feel a lot more confident now doing this than I did a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, good. That's good. And it's much smoother with you, Paul.
It's that thing, isn't it? It's getting the confidence, and when you've
Yeah,
got expert tuition like yourself showing with the tips and the tricks, it makes a big difference.
it does. It does. I mean, that's how I've learned, by watching other people do it. I didn't learn, just by doing it myself. You learn from so many different people as well. You pick up tips from lots of different people. Don't just watch what one person does. Pick up tips from lots of different people, and that's the way you choose the bits that suit you the best. So I haven't put those in, look, but I'm going
Yeah.
to carry on this way. So you'll have those two little lines there. I've omitted mine, but I've already embossed them now. So you can either emboss them or colour them in. It's up to you. So I've left a little gap on both sides there. And then with your body, just do that dot there. So you can see that's a small dot, but I'm still doing it with a 6mm ball tool. And then I'm going to emboss the whole body white.
I mean, I think this is the great thing about sort of Facebook and the YouTube channel, is that obviously you're showcasing the skills and the techniques that are available for people to go back to watch again and again.
Yes.
I mean, in October of this year, we've got our fantastic parchment retreats at the Spa Hotel in Tunbridge Wells. And I mean, they're a fantastic block of 2 days, but not everybody can afford that, or not everybody is able to travel, especially from our viewers around the world. So to have this, and now to have this exciting Pergamano summer school with Linda Williams in the comfort of her own home is just amazing.
Well, and the thing is as well, the retreats are amazing, and I tend to demonstrate a lot of the needle tools, but unless you're sitting in the front, you haven't always got a good view. I do tend to pass my work around, but here you have got a bird's eye view, and this has never been done before. We've never covered all the tools on Facebook Live or YouTube or anything. This has never ever been done before. And it's never ever been free either. Don't usually get things for free, do you? You've usually got to pay for things nowadays. So
Exactly.
yeah, you might get somebody demonstrating one needle tool or something, but I'm going to go through them all. I'm going to do them all with you. So then there's my first emboss there, and that's been embossed 2 or 3 times, and you can see how it's starting to build up there. Now with this little butterfly here, if you don't want to put all these bits in, then all you need to do is you can do a plain one. Wouldn't that be lovely? So let's start at the middle and curve into the wing there. And it'll be lovely. Now I'm not going to emboss this from the tip down. I'm going to emboss it that way. And I'm aiming for that V shape there.
I'm in awe now. I've stopped. I'm just watching.
That's okay.
I'm just blown away just watching. It's just wow.
So I think I'm going to do a bit more on that now to show you. I'm going to over emboss it now, but never mind. You wouldn't do this, okay? So I'm going to go. I'm going to leave a few gaps now. Let me just give him a bit of interest.
So are you still on the number 6, or have you dropped down to the 4.5?
I've got number 6. Yeah, I've still got number 6.
Number 6.
Yeah, I have had to look then a minute. Now I'm going to go to the 4.5. I'm just trying to show you how you can I'm introducing some darker areas now into this butterfly's wing. I'll turn it over in a minute for you to see.
So this is very similar to what we did with the paisley the other week, wasn't it? Where we
That's right.
put those faux veins in.
Yes. So I'm gone to the number 3 now. Just now, number 3 on the very tips. I'm not going in too far. Yeah. Can you see how that's shaping up?
Yeah. Wow.
And you could then perhaps take, should we have number 1? And we could just add a few flicks there. There we are. Bringing it a bit closer.
Beautiful. It's
So
amazing. And yeah, so if you was doing this when you created this card originally, Linda, you would have allowed the layers of whitework to rest in between, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone further than that. And I would have actually done the whole thing in that shade. And then I've gone, I've got a sheet here somewhere. Here we are. There we are. Now then, this is that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've shown you here now how to just trace the outline. Okay, so I've just traced the wings. I've put that little bit in for interest on his antenna and his body. So I've left out now all these pieces, all the extra bits. Okay, and then I've that would be my first emboss with a 6mm, probably 2 layers there. And then I've gone down to the 4.5mm, and then I've gone to the 3mm, and you do know that this is equal to the 3mm, the number 4, but also equal to the 3mm, and then the 1.5 for final detail. Remember, I just started to flick out from the inside.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. How are we doing for time, Paul?
How are we doing for time? It's 5:02 already.
What is it? Shall we give it one more layer?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, okay. So 1 more layer then. With the 6mm ball tool.
Am I right in thinking, Linda, this card that you're showcasing here that you created was one of the Clarity Matters blogs, wasn't it? Where you did a step-by-step.
Yes, it was.
So if people wanted to see the finished card, I'm sure Gilly can point our viewers at home to that relevant blog, so that, again, some people, as you say, like to hear the audio and the visual. Some people like to follow step-by-step written instructions. But at least they'll be able to sort of see that finished project as well.
Yes, I mean, you know, it's not a difficult card to do, but it's nice when you've been shown the embossing. You're halfway there now, aren't you? You know, you could go and actually make this card, and there is a picture of the reverse, so you will be able to follow it much better. So yeah, there we are. So,
but again, to have this in real time in sort of audio, for me, I've learned a lot more from this, because I can ask the questions and that people are sort of asking on the things, but to me, this visual thing,
yes,
I work better with that rather than a written instruction, so to speak.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people do. And what you've done dosing with everybody, Paul, haven't you? So I wasn't being oh, last week was brilliant. Oh,
it was fun. It worked out in the end.
You got to be able to laugh, haven't you? You know, come on. Right. Okay. So all you need now is a blue pencil. Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to dose it if you don't want to. So I'm working in the opposite direction now. So I'm flicking in towards my embossing. and just push the colour with your finger.
And is that the B pencil or the A pencil,
This is
or does it not?
a B pencil, yeah.
A B pencil,
B pencil. So you can smudge it. If you haven't got any dorso, you can actually smudge it. I have got my blending nib here. Can dry blend. So these are the blending nibs, okay? And some little. So some long strokes, remember? Some long strokes, some short. So you're doing exactly the same as you would be doing with your embossing tool. So not all the same lengths. And if it's too grainy for you, then just blend it with your. But remember now, if you're going in with your dorso oil, to just blend. Pretend I've got dorso oil on there now. If I wanted to blend this, I'd blend it like that, and I'll put a bit of dorso oil just to show you.
In a circular motion.
So in a circular motion, okay? And I'm not touching my embossing at the moment, but then I just do that, just to smooth it out so that I don't get too much oil. There's a lot on there now. Let's take some off of my hand.
And we're still working on the back, aren't we, Linda?
Still on the back, yes. So you see there's a little bit too much gone on there now. So it's good that I've done that, really, for you to see. I didn't want it to come all that way. Okay?
Right.
But that's okay. So now here's the thing. That's okay. So if you do happen to do that, you can either take some off with your rubber.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you can go back in, but make sure it's dry. I don't know if it'll work for me now because it's not very dry. You can go back in with your embossing tool and give it a refresh.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I've done that one there. There we are. Sorted.
Lovely.
All right. And then when you've done your colouring on the back, it's always lovely if you can go in and just add a little bit more on the front for depth. But don't go over your white lines. It's best not to do this if you're a bit afraid of going over your white lines because it can look very untidy to you. But I'm not covering all the blue. I'm just covering a little bit of the blue to give it a little bit of depth.
And is the key to this part having a really sharp pencil?
Absolutely, yes.
Wow.
Closer for you to see. There we are.
Gosh. Yeah, you can really see how it all starts to come together, can't you?
Yeah.
And that's just on one butterfly.
Yeah. And you can do it on that one as well. Just give that one a little bit of colour as well. So I might have enough on there. There we are. Let's just pull it out a little bit. And remember, if you've got your dorso oil on your nib, you don't have to keep adding dorso oil to it. You'd be surprised how much is left on your nib. Keep turning that round to show you. All right.
Yes, that's brilliant.
There we are. That ended the lesson.
Wow. Thank you very much, Linda. So that was just, again, I started and then I was just enthralled and was just watching. But you know what? That's the great thing about this media is that look, I can go back and watch it again and again. It's not as if, I've paid to go on a workshop and I've got to cram it all in and then I've got to go home and then remember what I've done. This is the benefit of this.
Yes. And if we're not doing a complete project, I can show you so much more. I can get across. Yeah. It's lovely to do a complete project. But I mean, when we do the needle tools, I'll show you the little bits from each one and I'll explain to you. And then in the back of the book, you can go to the projects are there for you and the instructions are there. So if I show you how to use the needle tools, then you know, the projects, most of you can use a Groovi plate now, and then the projects are mapped out for you, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you
So,
literally do hold our hand throughout this. For me, it's like an encyclopedia of knowledge and skill. And so to have the Pergamano Summer School with Linda Williams is just so exciting. But again, you give us tips about cutting across, which obviously we've covered, but some people may forget how to do it. And
yes,
again, how to sort of hold the scissors, what's right for you, what you feel more comfortable with. So it's not just about the multi-needle tools, it's all about the different skills that you can pick up.
yes.
I mean,
yeah,
the 5-needle
how best to emboss and which tools to emboss inside those, you know, and how to be careful, you know, so that you don't break the holes and things. So
I'm so excited. So if you missed out on what we were talking about earlier, this is the Pergamano Summer School with Linda Williams that's going to start on the 20th of July on Facebook Live at 10 o'clock every Tuesday. And Linda is going to hold our hand as she guides us through volume 1 of her handbook. And we've put together a bundle of the essential tools that's covered in here, because some of you at home will already have the 1 needle, the 2 needle and the 4 needle. But we've also created this tick list that is available as a free download. You just print it off and you can create your tick list and say, right, I've got this, I've got that. Or maybe I need to have a look at that. Or maybe you'll wait until Linda comes to that tool and then you'll think, okay, right, I really need that tool now. So again, I mean, whether you print double-sided or single-sided, it's entirely up to you. But we've put all the essentials on there as well. And it's got its own dedicated section on both the Clarity and the Pergamano website. I'll give you a sneak peek of volume 2. I mean, this one is 172 pages. This, look at that. And it's the same. And this looks at in more of the sort of more detailed multi-needle tools, doesn't it, Linda?
yes, and the reason there's more needle tools in that one was because when we went to the show, the trade show, we had a certain number of needles and I had a certain number of samples. But when it came to the handbook of multi-needle tool, I'd already designed some more multi-needle tools. We had the Pico V, the small, medium and large. So we had extra ones then. So we couldn't leave them out of the book. So that's why that book is bigger than the first one.
Exactly. So I'm just so excited for this when this comes up in a couple of weeks' time. So next week we're going to continue with the beautiful butterflies and dragonflies, aren't we, Linda?
Yes. Yeah, and I'll get. Will somebody put the how to sew card? I'll write up the instructions for that, and I'll send it over for somebody. Where will they find it, Paul?
So what we can do, we can put it on Facebook. We'll put it on Facebook on Clarity and Groovi Worldwide, and we will put it on. I think there's a download section on the Clarity website, and we'll pop it in there. But what we'll do is, when we send our e-shot out about the Pergamano Summer School, we'll put it in that e-shot as well. So if you haven't signed up to our newsletters, then now's a good time to sign up for that. So a massive thank you, as always, to lovely Linda for her time, her energy, all free of charge.
Well, it's nice to share. It's like,
it is.
And I hope that everyone will get the same passion that I do about the needle tools. You know, I really love using them, and I hope everybody will as well love using them. You know, and I think they will. Once they get over that hurdle of, oh, how do I do this? You know, and I could never do that. You know, but you can do pretty lace work with these.
Exactly. Yes. I remember when we looked at some of the tools, it's a heart or it's a swirl, or what would you do with it? And then along comes Linda Williams. This is what you do with it and more.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Linda, on behalf of everyone at home. It's been another amazing hour. And we're back together again next week. I'm just going to watch that back on YouTube later and have another go with those butterflies.
Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
You will indeed. So thank you all at home for joining in. Don't forget, sign up to that newsletter and check out the website. And we'll see you again next week. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.